Nations World Food Program for its efforts to combat hunger. The program is the world's largest humanitarian organization addressing hunger and promoting food security. The UN says the project provides food assistance to more than 91 million people in 83 countries every year by helping people who cannot produce or obtain enough food for themselves and their families. Also breaking overnight, police are looking for a suspect in a stabbing in Grand Forks. A man was stabbed in the leg just before midnight in the 1800 block of Continental Drive. That's a neighborhood just east of Columbia Mall. Police say the victim and the suspect know each other, so they say there is no danger to the public right now. No arrest has been made, and we don't have an update yet on the condition of the victim. Police are asking anyone with information on this stabbing to contact them. 2 people are in jail accused in connection with the thefts at a Fargo storage unit. 38-year-old Dustin Ambule is facing charges of burglary and possession of stolen property. 41-year-old Rachel Clow was arrested for obstructing. Now, here's what happened. A police officer spotted a suspicious vehicle near the facility early yesterday morning and tried pulling over the vehicle, but the driver took off. The officer did not chase him. Then the manager of the facility told police that he suspected a storage unit had been broken into. Working with the manager, officers later located and arrested 2 suspects. Police later executed a search warrant on another storage unit tied to Ambule and Clow and recovered several stolen items. The West Fargo Cheyenne boys soccer team is in a race to finish their season undefeated, but they're sidelined for the state tournament because of COVID-19. The Valley Today's Brian Sherrod joins us live in studio this morning to tell us what the team is up against. Good morning, Brian.
And good morning, Lisa. The Mustangs were forced into quarantine after one of their players tested positive for COVID-19 following their quarterfinal game on Tuesday. This is when contact tracers determined that the entire team of 23 must quarantine. This quarantine makes them ineligible to compete in the state semifinals against Bismarck Century, scheduled for noon today at Fargo South. So the North Dakota High School Athletic Association then gave the school 2 options, either forfeit or send their JV team. Now, just hours now before kickoff, the Mustangs are pushing back. They have started a petition on change.org, and parents and athletes from all across the state are joining forces in support for the Cheyenne team's plea to postpone the tournament. The players started off their signing goal at 1,000 signatures, but have extended that goal, and when I last checked, it was over 1,800 signatures. Now, this team is currently running out of time, but says they are not accepting this as being their first loss of the season.
Maybe just postpone it 3 weeks and then see where we go from there. But I just would expect something a little more out of the NDHSAA.
To support the Mustangs boys soccer team and sign a petition, you can find a link on our VNL News app. And if they are not successful with this petition, the Mustangs JV team will play in their spot. And again, you can find this petition on our VNL News app. Back to you, Lisa.
All right, thank you, Brian. Of course, we will update people throughout the morning and afternoon on that developing story. The Minnesota Department of Education is unveiling new guidance that will allow a limited number of spectators for high school sports, concerts, performances, and other events, including those held indoors during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. The recommendations include no more than 2 spectators per participant and a limit of total attendance based on the size of the venue and the overall state guidance for that indoor and outdoor gathering. Spectators are also expected to follow requirements for face coverings and physical distancing, including being at least 6 feet between each other, especially between household spectator groups, and 12 feet between spectators and participants when possible. Education officials also recommend advance reservations with names and contact information in case anyone associated with the event gets COVID. Prior to this new guidance, no spectators were allowed for any indoor events. It's now 8 minutes before 7 o'clock, and sounds like we have just a gorgeous Friday afternoon on the way. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning. Yes, we're looking at beautiful weather here today. We do have a gorgeous sunrise starting up for us here this morning. You can see that there are some clouds around, but overall we've got some mostly sunny skies ahead, and it should be a great start to the day. That morning drive, no weather issues affecting you, and it'll even be a little milder for you to step out the door here and for the kids to be out at the bus stop. Still needing that coat, but not as feeling as brisk as yesterday morning. We're looking at some 40s to some 50s. It's 50 degrees degrees in Fargo. It's 48 right now in Grand Forks. We are at 41 in Langdon and 63 right now in Sisseton. We've got the wind coming down off the hills, and that can tend to warm us up there. 17-mile-per-hour speed in Sisseton. The rest of us 5 to 15 miles per hour out of the south. And those winds, once again, they're going to pick up today. I don't think they'll be as strong as yesterday, but we're looking at some gusts getting into some of those 20s and maybe up to 30 miles per hour for a short time. Checking out your radar and satellite map, looking good. We've got quiet weather, just a few clouds hanging around in the valley for today. And a look at your bus stop forecast. Things this morning, quiet for the kids. We're looking at mostly sunny skies once that sun is up at about 7:30 and a little after that actually. And then heading into the afternoon, beautiful weather to head home, 76, just a little on the breezy side with lots of sun. Just a gorgeous fall day. Just a great way to end the week and to head into the weekend. And speaking of, Saturday looks beautiful. It will be a little bit cooler, about 10 degrees cooler or so. The morning hours will be a little cooler as well, but beautiful with lots of sun. Sunday's the day that I've been talking about for that chance for some storms later in the day, afternoon and evening hours, and especially along the Red River and east. We're looking at some warm and windy weather too on Sunday as well, with a severe storm risk under a slight risk for us along the Red River and east for Sunday. Quick look at your fall foliage map if you've got some plans to do some viewing of those fall colors. Unfortunately, a lot of us are past peak. Doesn't mean there aren't a lot of great places to check in those fall colors this weekend, and it's going to feel a little bit more like fall as we head into next week. So enjoy these next couple of days.
All right. Good plan. Thank you, Lisa. Minnesota health officials are loosening up COVID restrictions for the state's hospitality industry. Restaurants can now have 10 people at a table instead of 6. That's up from 4 to 6 if they were members of a single household. Live music will also now be allowed inside establishments that are large enough to accommodate social distancing. The Minnesota Department of Health is reporting 1,276 new COVID-19 cases and 8 new deaths. The University of Minnesota is changing spring break plans at its 5 campuses because of coronavirus. School leaders are moving the week-long vacation from March to April for Twin Cities and Rochester students and spreading those days across the semester for those attending in Duluth, Morris, and Crookston. University officials also say that social distancing and mask requirements will remain in place this spring, and professors will be given the choice once again of teaching online or in person. With North Dakota's positivity rate above 7%, many people were expecting Governor Doug Burgum to move some counties into that high-risk category. 17 counties did move up, but none to the high-risk level. The governor says data isn't the only factor to consider when deciding a county's risk level. He says there are smaller counties that may mathematically qualify for a higher risk level, but says COVID math can have a narrative that doesn't call for an increase.
It might move up a level, then someone might say, oh, we should close a personal care business, but it's still okay to have a 250-person event. But now we know things we didn't know this last year, which is personal care with masking probably could stay open.
Burgum says counties have avoided the high-risk category because the state has proven it can function with a 7% positivity rate. The governor also recently said the goal was to keep North Dakota under 5%. North Dakota is reporting 531 new COVID cases. 137 of those are out of Cass County. Essentia Health is offering more mammography appointments. Additional slots will be outside of normal hours, and appointments will be available on Saturday, October 17th. Doctors say a regular mammogram can help detect breast cancer before you have any symptoms. And if it's caught early, it's easier to treat. Women with an average risk of developing breast cancer should get a yearly mammogram beginning at the age of 40. For the first time in more than 50 years, the world's largest French fry feed in Grand Forks had to be canceled because of COVID. It's an event that landed the city in the Guinness Book of World Records with thousands of people and spuds to feed them all. Now the Spud Jr. in East Grand Forks is picking up the baton despite concerns over large gatherings. Now those who have attended in the past are accustomed to the free fries, but the bar is adding something extra this year, free beer.
A lot of people never heard of us, so if we can do anything to try and bring the attention to the restaurant, hopefully that's going to benefit. So that's where this idea kind of was born out of, and we just thought, that's not going to happen on that large scale that it does every year. So, we're the Spud, I guess, so why not do it on a smaller scale?
The owner of the Spud Junior tells us they have hand sanitizer set on all of the tables, and they're also going to be limiting the number of people inside at a time. They're also going to have their patio open for one final time this year. The event is slated to start tomorrow afternoon at 2. An event which would have drawn thousands to the Fargo Dome was canceled just weeks before it was supposed to take place. The big one, Art and Craft Fair with hundreds of vendors, was dropped by organizers, but we'll still be holding events in Bismarck and Minot. Event organizers confirmed with us that they are recovering from COVID-19 and do not feel confident in their ability to run the show in Fargo before returning to Minot for the next show. There were set to be more than 300 booths this year for those looking to sell their crafts. And the Facebook event had 8,000 people signed up as interested to attend. For some vendors, this is a big loss of revenue, but for others, they say it's just another event in this weird year.
Of course, it's affected us. We probably miss the people more than everything, but we've just, times change. We got to change with it, so we've made it work.
Refunds were offered to the vendors, or they could choose to have the booth fee pay for their spot next year. In our consumer alert today, Dollar General is launching a totally new store aimed at wealthier shoppers who still appreciate a good deal. The new concept, called Pop Shelf, will feature home decor, beauty items, cleaning supplies, party goods, and more. The majority of items will sell for $5 or less. The first 2 Pop Shelf stores open up near Nashville in the next coming weeks. Let's get our answer now to our question of the morning on Facebook. Today's question, 87% of parents say their kid looks up to this person. A great person to look up to, their coach. Remember, you can play along every weekday morning by heading to our Valley News Live Facebook page. The Today Show and CBS This Morning are just about to start, but remember, the Valley Today rolls on. You can join us right now for more live, up-to-the-minute news and weather on the Fargo CW.